I hope sound's working, actually. Anyway, fingers crossed. So just going to talk about one part of the life cycle of taking a HVAC business's current workflow and putting it into software automation. There's a process we use called our WMA process, and it stands for workflow mapping, where we map your current workflow, mapping the automation software, which is our field insight software, and then the actual automation in the software. So there's 3 steps we go through. The first step is pretty quick, actually. It's like, 30 minutes to an hour. Really big business workflow can be a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours. And we basically use Stormboard, which is a workflow mapping tool, but it's really, you can do it in person, in paper. And we use butcher's paper and Post-it notes to represent the different parts of the team. So the first thing we do is workflow your current system. So we identify the key roles in your company. So we might go through and say, hey, look, you've got your scheduler or your service manager, and then we might say, hey, look, you've got your technician or your guys in the field. And we say, where does the job come from? We go through a simple little workflow here. We say, where does your job come from? So we say, do I get an email? And then we say, what does the scheduler do? So they might come in and they might book that in as tentative, and then they might come along and confirm it the day before, book it in as scheduled. Then SMSs might go out or whatever. You might get a little SMS out to a tech or an SMS out to a customer. And then what happens with the tech? So the tech comes on, they might let you know that they've arrived. Then they might come along and they might take some photos. Then they might do the job if you're lucky. And they'll let you know whether it's flagged as incompleted because they need parts, or there's sort of an alternate workflow here. They come through and they say it's completed in here. Then you've got other people like accounts, invoicing, and that sort of stuff. And these are sort of roles. So these are hats. So quite often, if you're a small business, you're wearing all hats. If you're bigger, there might be 1 or 2 of you. There might be 2 people wearing a hat. Often one person's wearing 2 hats. And yeah, sometimes you can have all 3 hats on. Sometimes you can each get your own hat. Sometimes you've got lots of people with the 1 hat on. So that's a workflow mapping session. So that's the first thing we do. So we start with workflow. Then we do the mapping session. So a mapping session here, I should say right up here, like the first thing before you do this is sort of you just identify any pain points. So really you just want to find what are the areas I really want to fix by automating my HVAC business. You're not sort of diving in there and going, I'm just going to do this without a bit of a focus. Like, am I interested in my invoicing flows or my scheduling flows? I want to better track my products I'm used or my hours. I want better time sheeting focus. So you sort of do it with a bit of a certain bent as you come in. Then we do the mapping. So when we've done this automation, what we know is that as I hand over a job from one person to the other person, it changes status. So we write down at the bottom here that when it comes in first, it might be in the status of tentative. And then it might go to a status of scheduled. Then when the guys are in the field, I instantly in the office want to see if they've arrived. Then when they've done all their stuff, and if it's incomplete, I want to know that I need to maybe book a callback, and I want to easily have all my jobs linked together. Or if it's completed, then I'm going to take it through the accounts team and I'm going to invoice it. So these are our statuses. So then how do we map? So now we're in the M. So now we're in the mapping stage. So how do we map these statuses? So we basically do it with a table. We write down all our statuses down here. So here we might have tentative, we might have scheduled, we might have arrived. What we're really doing here now, incomplete and complete, what we're really doing here is actually building a list of standard operating procedures for our guys. Each one of these has a list of instructions. So you just literally start building out your list of instructions for your guys. So then when you get new guys on board in the Field Insight product, you can actually see each of these steps and the instructions for those guys. So that's pretty fantastic because the activity of going through this process is also the activity of building your procedures. And when we talk up here about performance, and we talk about your processes, and we talk about your automation, and we've got our little grid here. We call this Chaos Town, and we call this Performance Town. So the activity you're getting here is actually covered by the WMA process. So our process actually gets you from where you are now to where you want to get to in 3 steps. And it seems a bit easy, but if you're doing it with someone who's done it a few times before and you know your business really, really well, and you know the areas you want to focus on, because you do, of course you do. So it's actually it's not crazy hard. It's not crazy hard. So then you map that out, and then we go through and we take this mapping. So all this we do with you over the phone in a beautiful product called Stormboard. So we use a Stormboard for mapping activity, and you end up with these lovely colorful maps. And in the next coming days, I'll show you a Stormboard example. So we map out your workflow online. We take that and then we turn that into effectively a mapping in the software, and then we can configure the software, and we have a session with you. That automation is really, we do a config session with you and we just show you how it all works in the system. So this is really, that's it. That's how we take you from, I've got some pain points here. I want to focus on my invoicing workflow. I'm not getting the invoices out quick enough, or they're missing information, or I'm not getting photos, or my service report, I want them to have photos on them, I want them to look prettier. How do we make sure my photos get taken before my job gets started or completed? That's it. I'm not going to go on too much more about that. There's plenty to talk about. That's it for now. I hope you enjoyed it. Hey Joe, hey Deb, can't hear you. Really? Maybe it's only you. Let's hope you can hear me. Let's hope you can. I hope you can. Can anyone hear me? Deb can't hear me. Hey, Deb can hear me. Yay. Thank you. Wow. There you go. I nearly started saying things which probably mean I'd have to cancel this live session, so that's good. All right. Talk to you all later. Thanks, heaps.